Nicolas Cage, Anthony Johnson, May 2012.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Settle.
Hey, Thumpers, welcome back to another trailer reaction from Hyper RPG. We are doing a trailer reaction for Atomic Blonde official trailer numero dos.
Part 2.
Part 2. I'm Adam Havik, joined here by
Cameron Rice.
or with
Dustin
and,
Butler.
So, very interesting trailer. Saw the first trailer with Lucas and Erica. Did not know going into it that it was directed by David Leitch, one half of John Wick, now directing Deadpool number 2.
Because he did not return for John Wick Chapter
did
2.
not.
He did this.
Yes, which I had no idea until I saw the action sequences and we were sitting here talking about, like, this feels very John Wick. And then I looked it up and I was like, oh, yeah, well, that would make sense considering that he directed it. It's based on the graphic novel that came out in 2012.
The Coldest Case.
The Coldest Case.
From Oni Press, which now I'm very curious to read. I've not read it.
Yeah. And I believe it takes place in 1989 Berlin. She's some sort of a assassin / agent, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
It stars Charlize Theron, which I think is awesome to see her doing more action stuff.
She's great.
She was incredible as Furiosa in Mad Max Fury Road. So I'm super excited to see her. I just watched Fate of the Furious as well. She does some action stuff in there, not as much as she does in this by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, you guys saw the first trailer. What are you kind of hoping to see from this?
God, it's interesting because like a movie like this, it's always that there's that degree of like how much of the action do you want to see,
Right.
How much of the story do you want to know, and then how much are you just like, nope, just let's just get into it.
Yeah.
You know, like I love movies like The Raid, and maybe it's because those are foreign films. You only kind of got the one trailer.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that was it.
Yep.
Short and sweet. And that made you just go, oh shit, we got to see this. But
Right.
American movies got to be like 3 trailers and TV spots and all those stuff.
Yeah,
So
so much.
I'm kind of hoping that there's not too much more in this than
This
the
looks
first
long
film.
too. It says 256.
3-minute trailer.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that doesn't include like the end card and the bumpers on it. So I don't know.
Yeah, those little teasers
Yeah,
for a trailer
right.
thing that we get
Yeah.
sometimes. Yeah.
Dustin?
Yeah, what I'm hoping for is I haven't still gotten a feel for what the story of the movie is yet from the trailers. Like we've already talked about what we know from the internet. I don't know from what the trailers are telling me what we're getting into. I know there's a lot of like scraps to kind of assemble, and I'm already on board.
Well, what the hell did this played at? Because we were talking about a little earlier, Baby Driver, which
Right.
Yeah,
premiered at
South by.
This played at South by. Not quite the raves. It got a lot of
Right.
like, this
It
was
was-
fine.
Well, what I saw off of people that I follow on the internet that I generally agree with, but not always, is the soundtrack and the action is just unbeatable, but the story is a little weak.
Right.
Well, I'm already on board.
Yeah.
I'll watch that. Like, I will totally watch for the
Yeah.
action. I love a good soundtrack under a movie. Oh my God. It's just something about cinema where you pair a shot with music or a song and you get this really definable moment.
Yeah.
So that's good enough for me. I'll check this out.
It does make me interested because I was not a big fan of the first John Wick. I really like John Wick Chapter 2. So hearing those reviews kind of made me, I would say actually interested, not concerned, because John Wick reviews were pretty rave. And so I'm interested to see how this goes, considering I did like Chapter 2. You know, does that play into any part between the directing team who still work together? Like there was no like angry split between the two or anything like that.
He probably didn't do John Wick 2 because he was doing this.
this.
Yeah.
So that it makes me interested. I'll say that for sure.
Yeah. I kind of feel the same way. I would say that the first trailer really focused on one major action set piece
Yes.
of the movie.
Yep.
And then we got like little things cut into it at
Yep.
the end. So I'm hoping that this definitely does focus more on like, what is this movie about? And then intercuts between all the dialogue and little bits of action. So
Yeah.
Right.
let's find out. Here we go.
Here we go.
I chose this life. And someday, it's going to get me killed.
Oh my God.
Great already.
But not today.
Lorraine Broughton, expert in intelligence collection and hand-to-hand combat.
Agent Gascoigne was killed last night. Did you know him?
Enough to say hello.
Let's see how that accent
He
plays
had
out
an
throughout the film.
atomic bomb of information. Find out who's hunting our operatives, and trust no one.
David Persons, your contact.
Welcome to Berlin. I'm David. Don't shoot. I've got your shoe.
I was me from the moment my feet touched the ground.
Yep. There he is.
You've never passed the plan?
It was part of mine.
I've lost the target.
What do you know about this woman who's been following
Oh,
me?
Sophia
You look like
Boutella.
you need saving.
So you made contact with the French operative.
Obviously.
Kanye.
Keep it 300, like the Romans, 300 bitches, where the Trojans, baby, we living in the moment, but I ain't finished, I'm devoted, and you know it, and you know it. Reach out, touch,
The clock is ticking, and everyone you get close to ends up dead.
Someone set me up. Someone from the inside. Now, this only ends one way. A bullet.
Ready for action. Reach out, touch, so follow me up, 'cause this shit about to go. Reach out, touch, but there's nowhere to go, and there's no way to slow. If I knew what I knew in the past, I would have been like that on your ass.
Oh my God, I think I love you.
That's too bad.
It's got style, that's for damn sure.
Mm-hmm.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Oh man.
How do we feel about it?
It looks cool. It does. It looks cool. It looks like the action scenes are going to be kind of awesome. I am interested in talking about the soundtrack. Are the soundtracks going to be mashup songs like what it was in this trailer? Do you know anything about that?
I
Anything
don't
you
know
read?
about that. I don't. It would be interesting because that was a pretty damn good mashup.
Yeah, Depeche Mode with Kanye, which I did like. The lesbian stuff is interesting. I don't know this source material to know whether this character is a lesbian or if she's using that. But I could see that maybe being male gaze kind of stuff that maybe some people might not dig.
Especially with that cutaway.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
made contact, and
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
like, obviously.
Yeah, really shot with the legs and everything like that.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything like super wrong with that, but you kind of wonder, I'm kind of like, oh, this movie's really going for it. Really violent and really,
Yeah.
really sexy.
Really sexy. Saucy and sexy.
James McAvoy is interesting. I like a lot of James McAvoy, but there's also sometimes where he will do certain films where I'm kind of like not huge on what he's doing. So I don't know if
Yeah.
him playing like the kind of like,
Yeah.
for lack of a better term,
Yep.
like comedic relief will work. But and maybe he's not the comedic relief. Maybe it's just those two scenes. But I'm super interested. Super interested. Not super like
Yeah.
stoked, but super interested.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I haven't seen anything from the trailers that would make me hate it.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen anything from the trailers where I've been like, I'm gonna go out of my way to see this movie. Like it's one of those movies where if I've seen everything else and I'm just aching to see something in the cinema, I'll probably give this one a shot. But it's not gonna break my heart if I catch it like on rental on iTunes or something.
Yeah, it's not like I was kind of thinking about like the very first scene where she's shooting those guys up in that room. It's probably just because of the lighting and the kind of room it was. I was thinking of Haywire, the Soderbergh movie with Gina Carano and Michael Fassbender and those guys. And I really love that movie. And I think like in a way that was Soderbergh playing with genre and kind of messing with it a little bit. And yeah, I think the concern sometimes with action movies like this is there's always that degree of like, is there going to be anything more than the action? Like
Right.
I really enjoy the first Raid movie, but I love the second Raid movie, and I know I'm in the minority with that. A lot of people really love like the first one a lot more. The first Raid movie, for lack of a better way of putting it, felt like a porno. Like I got everything I wanted in the first 5 minutes, and then it kind of just kept going. And I'm like, I got it. But the second Raid, because it dealt so much with story and all this other stuff, I was like, oh man, I'm kind of into this. So this is like in comparison to this film, I'm like, are you going to get all the cool Charlize Theron stuff in the first 5 minutes? And then you're like, Mad Max works because the Fury Road, because you're invested in those characters and you go into everything. And so if the characters in this are kind of like genre tropes with like, oh, it's not, she's a lesbian, oh, look at the wacky guy and all this other stuff, I'm kind of like, after 25 minutes, will I kind of be like, I got it. But I'd love to be wrong. I'd love to walk away from this movie going like, this was great. This was so much fun. So we'll see.
Yeah. I'm also kind of like, it's a movie that I don't necessarily feel like I'm being drawn to it completely. I feel like I'm just being drawn to the visual style and the action, the fact that it's Charlize Theron. And I'm curious to see if David Leitch can do a movie on his own without Chad Stahelski, and how it compares in comparison to, you know, what Chad Stahelski did with John Wick 2. Because that first movie is very much it's them working together on it. This is very much like, I'm doing it on my own. Chad Stahelski did John Wick 2. It's also going to kind of give me an idea of like, okay, will he be able to handle Deadpool 2, what Tim Miller did with Deadpool 2?
Well, because John Wick 2, the reason I think I love John Wick 2 a lot more than 1 was John Wick 2 went full comic book movie.
Sure.
Like it pretty much might as well have been 100 bullets. Where it was just like full on like excommunicado and all that kind of like. I'm like, yeah, you embrace that craziness.
Oh my god!
And I mean, this movie looks already pretty crazy. I don't know if there's anything it's not embracing.
Sure.
But yeah, I don't. It's weird. I'm trying to kind of talk about why I'm not like head over heels for this, like we were with Baby Driver and some other things.
I wonder if it's because Charlize Theron seems to be killing on the stunts. I don't know how much of her is there and how much of it is the stunt woman, but there's nothing that makes me want to fight for her character.
Yeah.
In every trailer I've seen so far. I really like John McAvoy's character, especially in this trailer with the high heel. That was amazing. But I haven't seen any character, but the one I think I should be fighting for is Charlize Theron.
Right.
And there has not a moment where I'm like, you know what, I want this person to win.
You haven't gotten that relatable moment in the trailer yet.
I still feel like this second trailer is still kind of a greatest hits, where it's like we talk about Charlize Theron, we show her beating up a bunch of dudes, but we're not letting her kind of have her moment to tell us or tell in the context of the movie, explain why we should care about her. Yeah. And I don't know. Honestly, I can't say whether or not we did or didn't get that in John Wick, the trailers for John Wick 1 or 2.
I can't recall for
I don't
part
remember
1.
exactly if we get that moment. If we see the moment where the dog gets killed, or it alludes to it.
In the trailer?
It does, because I remember watching the trailer and thinking, you know what, fuck this movie, and then the dog dies, and I immediately was just like, you know what? No, I'll watch this.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the missing link with this trailer is I'm not getting something where I'm like, oh, I'm in. I want to be in just to be in, but I also like that relatable thing where I'm like, I'm hooked.
Well, it's the thing for Man on Fire. The Man on Fire trailer shows Dakota Fanning getting kidnapped and being like, crazy!
Right.
Like, you're like, oh, man.
And that's kind of where the movie starts.
Denzel Washington's going to kill everybody. And I want him to.
Right. And I feel like, and it sucks because I feel like these two trailers do a disservice to her and her character. I want to have that moment where I'm like, oh, I'm on board. I'm already on board in terms of the action, but I want to be hooked in with I just want to be on. I want to know what her purpose is in the movie.
Because you could say there was maybe the moment with the photo where it's like, oh, this spy got killed.
Well, that's what I thought.
Did you know him? And she's like, no. But then we're seeing these flashes of like they're possibly,
but then it kind of abandons
lovers.
that whole plot.
And it ditches it real quick.
Yeah, so it's kind of it's one of those like, which is it's funny because that was basically Paula Patton's motivation for the fourth Mission Impossible movie.
Yeah.
Was like What's his name? The guy from Lost got killed.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I forget his name now.
Josh Lucas.
Josh Lucas.
Is it Josh Lucas? No, it's
I can't remember his name.
Correct us in the comments.
Sawyer. You know, I'll know who I'm talking about. Everyone wanted to be Gambit. But and that was her driving force in that film. So I don't know. I guess the driving force would be that guy. But it's like, and hopefully maybe the movie gives us enough of that, and we'll be like, oh, I feel it.
Yeah, it could just be the trailer not giving us enough.
Yeah.
I don't know also how much of this is Universal just being like, hey, let's hard sell that action and let's sell that lesbian stuff. And
let's also Fast and Furious this thing.
Let's also feature all these crazy character actors we got in this movie.
Right.
Yeah. There's a lot here. There's a lot of elements that can make this great.
I know one thing: whether it's good or not, I'm watching it.
Oh yeah,
because I'm gonna
totally.
watch it. I'm gonna like catalog all the cool shit that went down.
Yeah, I mean,
I agree.
I don't think we get. I don't want to say mainstream because it's not a mainstream movie, but I feel like we just don't get enough of this type of stuff with female characters.
Oh yeah,
Like when I
Real
look at something
genre
like,
heavy.
yeah, when I look
Yeah.
at something like this, I'm thinking of like Lilu and fucking Fifth Element,
Also,
whipping the shit out of people. You
How
know?
many action guy stars have you seen soak in an ice bath covered in bruises?
Right?
That is such a badass moment.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, again. no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Also, she has that one shot. I don't know if it's in this trailer. I can't recall, but in previous trailers where she's looking in the mirror and she's just covered in bruises.
Mm-hmm. Well, we saw a little bit of it in the
Yeah,
interrogation.
I
scene.
really hope there's a scene where she's covered in bruises and then she puts makeup on and they're gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, a lot of
how
that-
many male action stars have we seen do a scene where they're covered in bruises,
Right.
stuck in an ice bath, and
Right.
they cover themselves in makeup because they got a job to do?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think seeing the combination of just seeing Charlize Theron doing a lot of that hand-to-hand combat stuff.
Yep.
Sure, it's intercut with stunts. So is John Wick, but it's really cool to see that, and I think she is really a good pick to do that because
Oh,
of
yeah.
everything that she's done in Mad Max Fury Road, and
Yeah.
she's done some action stuff. But I think this is really going to show really the potential, like what she
Eon
really
Flux.
can do. Oh Jesus! Woo! Cameron took it down a hole.
Who could forget?
But guys, let us know in the comments below what you thought about the second trailer for Atomic Blonde. Did you like this one more? Did you like the first one previously? What are you hoping this movie kind of shows us? And what you're kind of hoping to see from the story? If you've read the graphic novel, what did you think about the graphic novel? Make sure you guys subscribe right here, youtube.com/hyperrpg. Watch all the live content that we produce every week. Twitch.tv/hyperrpg. Cameron, where can everybody find you?
Twitter, Instagram, everywhere else at Jurassic Alien.
And you can find me on Twitter at Dustin K. Butler.
And you can just find me at Adam Havoc. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you in the next reaction. Bye.
Bam.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Oh, yeah.